But we've got to take back the internet because they are taking people, they're literally brainwashing people. They're brainwashing our youth, and they're getting it to say like, oh, this is what they want to do. We can't let that happen. We have innocent youth, and they're misguided, and they're brought along. But then they hear the press talking about these people like Robin Hood. We can't allow the press to do that. We can't allow it to happen. We have to take back our country. We have to take back our intelligence. We have to take back the internet. We can't let this happen. Recently, Jeb Bush. Recently, it's over. I don't want to waste a lot of time on him because it's over. It's over. And you know what? I think he's a nice person. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? But recently he said, Donald Trump's tone is very tough. That's what we need. We need tough tone. And I say it, we have people in the Middle East and all over having their heads cut off. James Foley, who I think was an amazing guy, I got to know his parents. They're incredible people. Their son's head was cut off. That was the beginning. They're chopping off heads. You're a Christian, they chop off your head. They chop off heads of everybody. They drown them in cages. We haven't had anything. This has never happened. Maybe the Middle Ages. Maybe medieval times. You used to read about it. You know, you used to read about medieval times. There's never been anything like this. I said, don't go into Iraq. I was right. I said, now we got to go and we got to knock the shit out of these people. We got to do it. We've got to do it. And we can do it fast, and we can do it furious. We can do it. We can do it well. We can win there again. I watched on television. I talk about it all the time. I see our generals being interviewed on television. I don't want generals interviewed on television. I want to be unpredictable. You know, we're predictable. We're predictable. I want to be unpredictable. You know, all the polls say I'd be the best at the military. I'd be the best at foreign policy. Which is interesting, because if you read the front page of the New York Times today, they said about Ben Carson that he's unable to understand foreign policy. You know, his people actually said this, that he is unable to comprehend or understand foreign policy. It was a devastating story. It's all over the place. And if you watched over the weekend, you would understand exactly what they're talking about, because it was devastating when you watched the interview. But he's unable to comprehend foreign policy. We can't do this. I think he's a nice guy, probably. Who knows? I don't care. I don't care. We need somebody that's sharp and tough and smart and can figure it out fast. Fast. I mean, we're playing games. We're playing games. The problem we have is we're playing games. We don't have the luxury of going through what we've gone through for the last 7 years with this guy. This guy was not suited to be president of the United States. He wasn't. I mean, I talked about Ben the other day, and I talked about his book. Somebody said, no, you're too tough. So I'll do it very quickly, because I went in Iowa. I talked for 15 minutes. They said, oh, that was too tough. It's not a question of being tough. He wrote a book. He said he's got pathological disease. Okay. That's a problem to me. Problem. He said he hit or tried to hit his mother over the head with a hammer. I didn't. Me? Mary McLeod? No way. I didn't. He said he tried to stab somebody, hit the belt buckle. No belt buckle stop, because they're going to twist and turn and slide, and It's going in. If a strong guy goes like this, it's going in. It's not stopping. It might be detoured a little bit, but it's going in. He said he hit somebody, really a very good friend of his, in the face, really, really hard with a padlock. Boom, in his face, did a lot of damage. And that's why they want to elect him. And he's trying to prove that he did it. And I'm saying, I think if I was him, I'd try and prove that I didn't do it. I don't get the whole deal. I don't get it. I don't get it. What are we coming to? What is the country coming to? We need sharp, we need smart, we need brilliant, we need tough. We've got to get the right guy. We need Trump. Yeah. Thank you. So then today they come out with the Times story, and you should read it. And by the way, Times and many other papers, not just the Times. It was the Times, I would say, don't believe it, maybe. But it's many papers talking about he cannot comprehend what's going on. That's bad. That's real bad. Can you imagine that if somebody goes in office and then you realize that he really cannot figure it out? We got a problem. Yeah, we have Obama. That's right. He's never figured it out. And then we have others. I mean, they're running, but they're not the right people. They're not the right people. You know, I've made a tremendous amount of money. I've built a great company. Remember when they said, he'll never run? Then I ran. Then they said, he'll never file Form A. That's basically a one-page, but basically you're signing your life away. I signed it. They're going like, oh. Then they said, oh, well, he'll never file his financials because you're given all these, you could file forever, you could take forever, you get all these delays and everything. They said, he'll ask for the longest delay. Well, I have the longest, biggest financial statement ever filed in the history of the federal elections, and I filed it ahead of schedule. No, it's true. You're given 30 days to file, and then you're giving many extensions, and everybody said, oh, he'll just keep extending, and then he'll drop out, because maybe he's not as rich as people thought. Well, I filed it, and it turned out I'm much richer, right? You see, much richer. And I don't do that, you know what, much richer. Oh, the press was devastated. They couldn't believe the numbers. They couldn't believe it. Longest statement, I think it was 98 pages, almost 100 pages. Whereas a politician, it's like one page. They did a book. And they got a couple of bucks for it, but they did something. So I did this tremendous thing. What they don't know is that I didn't even know if I was going to run. Because it took, you know, when I came down, I took a deep breath. I went like this to my wife. Man, look at that down there. The press was like crazy. The whole atrium was packed with press. I said, ay, ay, ay. And I went like this. You ever do this when you have something where you're just not 100% and you're saying, oh, should I be doing this? My whole life is going to change. My family's life. And I went like this. Let's go, baby. That's what happened. That's what happened. And we went down that famous escalator. We went down that escalator, and here we are. Here we are. But what they don't know is that if I didn't run, I was going to file the financials anyway because I'm so proud of them. They're so good. I was so proud of them. So it shows an unbelievable company, unbelievable assets, the most iconic Doral, buildings in Manhattan, 40 Wall Street, 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue, all over the place. The Bank of America building, a big chunk in San Francisco, one of the great buildings of the world. Many, many things. Land all over the place, on the Potomac River, on the Pacific Ocean. Very little debt. Tremendous cash flow. They said, oh, they were devastated. They were devastated. They had one guy, you have boxes, and you check it. It says 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. Actually starts with $5,000. The various boxes, 10 million, 20 million. Then they go 25 million. Then they go 50 million or more. So I have many buildings worth much more than that. So, but you check 50 million or more. So I checked the box. I didn't check. My accountants checked, right? They checked the box. Many of these, I think it's like 23 or 24 boxes, 50 million or more. So we have a couple of guys, they added up the 50s. And that was what they said my net worth is. In other words, you have a building that's worth $1.5 billion in New York City or someplace, and there's no category. It's worth more than 50. So I check, boom. And I ended up with a net worth of all those boxes times X. 50 million times 23 or 24. And I said, that's so dishonest. But it didn't matter to me because the real people understood it. And then it was also reported, fortunately, fairly by some. But I would have put it in the financials anyway because they turned out to be great. And the reason I talk about the financials is this. I don't care. I'm a private company. Nobody knew what it was worth because as a private company, you have guys write books about Trump. They don't know anything. They don't know what I'm worth. Now they know what I'm worth because they see this financial disclosure, which is certified and big deal. It's a big deal. Filed with the federal government. But the reason I talk about it is not braggadocious. It's simple. We need that thinking in this country. I don't care about me. We need that thinking in the country. We need somebody that's not going to allow an Iran deal to be made. We need somebody that's a negotiator. I did write The Art of the Deal, but forget that. We need somebody that's... Carl Icahn, the great businessman, endorsed me the other day. We need... Carl is a good man. A lot of you know Carl. Great. Many of the people endorsed... They want me to win because they know I'm, like, really good at this stuff. And we need... And I talk to you this way. I talk to you this way because that's the mentality, whether I'm nice or not. I think I'm nice, actually. But whether I am or not, we've got to take our country back. We've got to turn our country around. We need that kind of thinking, whatever that thinking is. Whatever that thinking is, we need it. We can't give. I mean, our deal, I use it all the time. It's not a financial deal, although you could say it's even financial. But we can't get Sergeant Bergdahl, a dirty, rotten traitor, and give them 5 of the greatest killers on earth that they've been after for 9 years. But that's the deal. So we get Bergdahl, a traitor, and we knew he was a traitor, and 6 people, 6 young, great people were killed going after this bum. 6 people. Now, in the old days, there's my man, stand up. What do we do with Sergeant Bergdahl 50 years ago? That's right. Boom. Boom. A great veteran. Boom. He's gone. He's gone. 6 people killed looking for Bergdahl. And we give 5 people to get him back, and we knew that he was a traitor because they had a general and a colonel go and interview all of the soldiers that he dealt with and that he was with. They said he deserted. So they knew. You know, it's one thing, they made a mistake, but they knew. We can't do things like that anymore. And by the way, on Bergdahl, I see the other day, no time. They don't want to give him any time. They're letting him out. They're not going to not only not shoot him, they let him out. They say, well, he's been through a lot. Oh, yeah, he's been through a lot. 6 young, great people died looking for him. And he's recommended to get nothing, 0. And we can't let that happen anymore. So when I talk about myself, because I've had an amazing life. I mean, I've had a successful life. The Apprentice became one of the great shows on television. I left The Apprentice. I left so much. You know, it's funny. The Apprentice has been so great. Everybody watch The Apprentice, I guess, right? So NBC calls Steve Burke, the head of Comcast, who's a great guy, came up to my office. Please, Donald, do it again, please do it. I say, Steve, I want to run. I want to run. Top people at NBC, top people at Comcast, great people. And Steve is a fantastic guy. And he came, he said, please do it again. They wanted me to do it again. Mark Burnett called me, please do it again. Everybody takes a renewal. You'll be like the only one that didn't take a renewal. Are you crazy? I said, Mark, I really want to run because I think I can do a great job. So when I filed my financial disclosure, you're not going to believe this. I had all these guys, well, he doesn't make much money with the Apprentice. So here's what, certified numbers. I made $213 million doing The Apprentice. Can you believe it? No, think of it. Think of it. $213 million because we got the ads. I owned the show with Mark and the whole thing. $213 million is what I put on my statement. Now, these, guys said, they didn't believe it until they saw the number. That's a certified number. One of them on MSNBC used to go, well, he doesn't make any money with The Apprentice. So, anyway, So think of it. I made all that money. They want to extend for 28 shows. And I say, no, I'm not going to do it. And that's the least of it. So I give up a lot. You know, these guys, these politicians don't give up anything. They run, they lose, they win, they run, they keep running. That's all they do. They run, they talk. They're nothing. They're nothing. They can't do anything for you. They can't bring us to the promised land. They can't do it. It's not in their genes. I talk about corporate inversions. Companies are leaving our country. They used to leave New York for Florida. They used to leave Massachusetts, actually. They used to leave, I hate to say, they used to leave for Mexico. They did. That was pretty stupid, I will say. But we wouldn't let that stuff happen. We wouldn't let it happen. But they used to leave. Plenty left New Hampshire, plenty left, as you know, from Mexico, plenty left Massachusetts. But now, companies are going to leave our country with thousands and thousands of jobs left behind and abandoned because of our tax code, because of the complexity. There's $2.5 trillion offshore outside of this country. They can't get their money back. Because of the complexity of the code and because of the amount they have to pay, they're leaving it. And they're going to go to the money. And they're going to leave all the jobs. And they're going to get lower taxes. We can't let this happen. And I talk to these guys on the stand, these people on the stand. They don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. They're politicians. They're good at one thing, getting reelected. That's all they're good for. I see these people. I see them. I look at Rubio. He's a lightweight. He's a lightweight. Everyone says, oh, Rubio, he's the next Reagan. He's no Reagan. That I can tell you. No, he's not a Reagan. I don't mind. Hey, he's a young guy. Maybe he'll do well. I mean, my hair is better than his hair. That I can tell you. Sure. And I'm a little older. I'm a little older. But no, these people are not going to bring you. They're not going to take us where you want to go. They're not going to do it. They're politicians. All talk, no action, nothing gets done. They're controlled by special interests. It's not going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. It's time to really bite the bullet and do it right. We got to do it right. We got to do it right. And I want to be tough, and I want to be strong, and I want to do these things, because if we don't do it, we're not going to have a country left. We're just not going to have a country left. Not going to have it. Obamacare, a disaster. No, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. Obamacare, premiums are up 35, 45, 55%. Deductibles are through the roof. You don't even get to use it. The deductibles are so high. People are getting killed, and it was all a lie. 28 times you can keep your doctor, keep your plan, everything's wonderful. Even the Democrats were lied to, because they would have never approved it. But the president kept saying, great, everything you can have. And yet they don't have to use it. The politicians in Washington don't have to use it, because they don't want it, because it's no good. We are going to repeal it, and we're going to replace it with something great. With something great. So sad. So sad. When you look at it, when you see that, remember the website? Everyone forgets it now. You know, the one problem in politics, it's got like a 2-week life. Everybody forgets how bad. Remember the website? $5 billion website that didn't work? It still doesn't work. A $5 billion website. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. I would have gotten Microsoft. I would have gotten somebody. I would have gotten Yahoo. I would have gotten I could have gotten 10 different companies that are the best in the world. They would have done it for nothing. They would have been so honored to do it. We spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars doing a website that doesn't work. And everybody now forgets it. Obamacare has to be repealed. You know, in 2017, it's going to cost our country an absolute fortune. It's going to be useless as far as you're concerned. The deductibles will be so high, you're not going to be able to use it. And the cost is going to be prohibitive. So they're already saying they have to go back to Congress in 2017 to redo it, to change it. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to get something good. You know who made the money with Obamacare? Other than the fact that the people that designed the websites were very close to you know who, right? You know that. But you know who made the money with Obamacare? The insurance companies. They gave a tremendous amount of money to Obama. The insurance companies have made a fortune with Obamacare. Take a look at them. Take a look at these insurance companies. They're raking in billions of dollars with Obamacare, and nobody even knows it. So we're going to get rid of it. We're going to come up with a plan that's so good. There's so many ideas, so many plans, and it's going to be good. And you're going to have your doctor, and you're going to have your plan. You're going to have what you want. So the other day, I was watching the Democrat. It's actually the Democrat debate. You know, they call it the Democratic debate because it sounds better. It's not really it's called the Democrat debate. And I watched Hillary, who doesn't have the strength or the stamina to be president. I can tell you, doesn't have this. No, doesn't have it. She doesn't have the strength or the stamina. We need very strong right now. She's exhausted, folks. She's exhausted. In fact, I think if she pulls it off, I think her greatest achievement ever will be getting out of the email scandal. I think that'll be her greatest achievement. And I think she will do it because I think she's being totally protected by the Democrats. They've destroyed General Petraeus. They put other people in jail for doing 5% of what she did. And I think that she's going to get a free pass. I think the Democrats are protecting her because they think you can't vote for Bernie. Did you hear that? The Paris attacks were caused by, did you hear this one? The Paris attacks were caused, according to Bernie Sanders, they were caused by global warming. And the other guy, he shouldn't even be on the stage. He was the mayor of Baltimore. He did a great job, okay? So we have issues. We have 93 million people out of the labor force. Think of it. When you hear 5.2%, forget it. When you add the real numbers, you probably have a 25% unemployment. And I'll tell you, this place is packed. People are still coming in. Oh, those poor people, they're gonna be so angry when I finish and they're still coming in. Ay, ay, ay. People, can you believe people are still coming in? Let's give them a hand. Give those people a hand. We love those people. They're going to say, how did Mr. Trump do tonight? How was the speech? They're going to say, I don't know, we never got in. So we have 93 million people out of the labor force. We have 50 million people in poverty. We have 43 million, and now it's actually going to be probably closer to 50 million people on food stamps. And I'll tell you what, if we had a real, hello, you know, it's amazing. I mentioned food stamps, and that guy who's seriously overweight went crazy. He went crazy. Amazing. Amazing. That's an amazing sight. You know the bad part? Here's the bad thing. So we had 3 little protests. Each person, I think it was one over there, one over here, one over there, right? So we had 3 people tonight. 3, right? 3 people. So we had 3 people, and the press will say, protests at Trump. We didn't have it. We have 12,000 people, and they're going to take 12,000 people still coming in, and they're going to take 3 people, these people, they're going to take 3 people and say, oh, the protests were unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, it's like Saturday Night Live. Anybody see Saturday Night Live? Yeah. It was good. Well, I heard about the protests, and I said, oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. So I had sent one of my guys out, and I heard every newscast, there will be major protests tonight in front of NBC at Rockefeller Center. The protests will be unbelievable. I said, you know, we better go in through a side door. This is going to be rough tonight. This is going to be rough. So we looked, and there were like 20 people outside. I sent my guy. I said, go check it again. You must be wrong. Comes back. He said 21 people total. He found one. Then just before I went on, I said, go check it again. There was nobody. You know why? They went home to watch Saturday Night Live. Is it crazy? Crazy. But the press was reporting massive protests against Trump. It's really horrible. It's really, really horrible. Really dishonest. And honestly, you're talking about 3 people. 1, 2, 3, right? 3 people. They weren't even in a group, because who the hell wants to be with a guy like that to be in a group? Seriously. Who wants to be with him? Nobody. Nobody. Nobody will have him. Nobody. But, so tomorrow when you go home, or tonight when you watch your broadcast, you're going to hear about protests. You're going to hear that there were protesters outside. I didn't see any. I saw thousands of people trying to come in. Thousands. That line, I never saw. That line was 4 blocks long. 5 deep. But you're going to hear about protests. And just remember what I said. It's all a big lie. It's a big lie. It's a terrible, terrible lie. It's a terrible, terrible lie. So I just want to close by saying, very shortly, you're fired. I just want to close by saying, look, I've given up a lot to do this. I've given up a tremendous amount. I've given up a lot of deals and economics and shows and a lot of other things. But what I want to say is, we're going to win if I get elected. We're going to win on trade. We're going to win with ISIS, and boy, are we going to win with them, and we're going to do it fast. We're going to win with our military. We're going to take care of our veterans. We're going to take care of our veterans. We're going to do great with our health care. It's going to be the finest in the land, the finest. And I can only say this, you have to remember this night. You are going to have something special. We are going to bring back our country. I used to say the silent majority. It's not the silent majority. It used to be the silent majority. This is a very, very vocal majority. You have to keep it going. But we are going to have victory. We're going to have victories economically. We're going to have victories on trade. We're going to put our people back to work. We're not going to let other countries steal our jobs. It's not going to happen anymore. We're going to have great health care. The American dream is dead, but we're going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever, ever, ever before. And we're going to make America great again. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I love you very much. Thank you.
And there you go, folks. The Donald Trump live rally in Massachusetts. Just wrapping up here.